Hello and welcome back to the Icons of Sin. Me, Chris and Daz are back. How you doing, boys?
Yeah, doing good, my friend. How are you?
I am very, very well, yeah. Daz?
Having a lovely day. Yep, all good.
Did you guys, well, I guess Daz, you probably did. I don't know if Chris did. Did you get that crazy hailstone, like, earlier on?
Yep.
It was mental. I've not seen hailstones like that in, maybe ever. It looked like it snowed, basically. We had that much hailstones.
Man, it was biblical.
It was crazy. It was crazy
We've had
stuff.
sunshine all day.
We're back to sunshine now.
Yes.
Yeah, we've had sunshine all day. It's been great.
Oh, well. You missed the biblical ice falling from the sky.
Yeah, it was something else. Like it was like Norse mythology.
Yeah, it was. It was pretty epic. It was
I am like
impressive.
70 odd miles away from you two.
You are,
aren't I?
yeah.
True.
Yeah, you're out in the woods, in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah, loves it. Country life, like.
Oh, yeah. Well, what have you guys been playing lately? You've both been streaming loads. So, plug your channels and tell us what you've been streaming.
Daz, you first.
Cheers, my man. So quick plug, twitch.tv, /Daz Thomas T-Boy, that's Tango Bravo Oscar India for the Binding of Isaac, of course. Been playing some chess.
Yeah, you have been playing a lot of chess.
Different.
Yeah, I jumped on that for a bit.
Yeah, it's fun. It's good to get back into. Been playing some Dark Souls 3 based on something me and Chris were talking about.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Which is ridiculous. Chris, I'll leave that to you. You can explain that if you want to.
Yeah.
Other than that, the usuals, bit of Binding of Isaac, Legend of Bumbo. The
usual stuff.
Stuff that you would expect to come out of my mouth.
Chris?
Well, yeah, we've been streaming a lot on Twitch, which is CG_pirate. And I've been streaming a lot of Elder Scrolls Online. I think I've streamed at least like 12, 13 hours of that now.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of Dark Souls 3. And after, when Daz was saying he was playing chess, I jumped on his stream and then I started streaming. He came on my stream afterwards, and him and my friend Aaron decided that it would be a good idea for my next playthrough to do no weapons, no armor. So
how does that work?
With much difficulty.
Lots of dodging.
Right.
Yeah, I did try it.
So are you effectively punching monsters at that point?
Yes.
Okay, including the giant boss monsters.
Yes.
Okay, how's that going?
Very, very difficult.
How far have you got, Chris?
I haven't got past the first boss.
the menu.
I thought I'd give it a go off stream to see how hard it is.
Yeah. You don't want to show yourself up on screen. On stream, you got practice beforehand. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, and because I decided to make a brand new character instead of using my like level 302. Yeah, it's very difficult. I haven't got past the first boss yet. I think I'm on attempt number 10.
Nice.
Tell you what I'll let you in on, Chris. Once you get past Yorm, and you end up in the undead settlement, you can get the cestus, and that when I've checked the rules for no weapon runs, and the cestus is fine because they're technically just gloves.
Right.
All right.
So that is actually allowed in that category when it's run by
Past
competitive players. Yeah. So once you pass Yorm, not Yorm. What am I talking about? What's his name? The dog.
Vort.
Vort. That's the one. Once you pass Vort, get into undead settlement, you'll be able to pick up the cestus, and then from that point, it gets a bit easier.
What's the cestus? What is that?
So it's just like a glove with blades attached to it.
Oh right.
It's kind of like a full hand knuckle duster almost.
It's kind of like a weapon.
Yeah, but
but it's not.
Technically, it's apparel. But basically, if you use two hand, you get one on each hand then as well.
Okay.
So you can just go around it's like you're just a boxer at that point.
If you are you allowed to use throwables like knives and firebombs or not?
I have been. I've been using black firebombs, especially when it's what's his name, the first boss. Why are all the names of bosses going out of my head during this episode?
I can never pronounce his name, but it's
you're gonna struggle today, aren't you?
That's the one, Gundyr. Yeah. So once you get to his second phase, and he does that thing where like the ooze comes out of him, the abyss.
Abomination.
Yeah. I just use the black fire bombs for that because like 4 will take it out.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So yeah, if you can work, basically, he's only got about 4 different patterns in his first phase. So if you can work out those patterns to dodge them, just get your throat punches in when you can. I think it's about 13, 14 punches to stagger him, and you can get a few free ones in.
Oh, nice.
Get him down to half health, you'll hit second phase, and then use your black fire bombs, you'll be through to that stage.
Yeah, but 13, 14 hits with just fists and no armor is still quite an accomplishment.
Yeah, it's a lot of rolling.
You can do it, Chris. You can do it.
You've got it, man. Absolutely.
I'll give it another go a bit later on, and then if I can do it, I'll start a new character again, and then stream it.
Yeah, do it, man.
I'm
weirdly enough,
something different tonight though.
Ooh,
streaming Shovel Knight.
Shovel Knight. I love Shovel Knight.
Nice, mate. Nice. Yeah, I've been making notes for the bosses, Chris, and I've been basically running through to the bosses in the fist only challenge, and I've been making notes so I can share them with you if you want to have a look at like patterns.
Oh, of course.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it's just gonna be me smashing my head against the wall constantly.
Yeah, I'll send some over to you when I've got like a few further bosses ahead, maybe. I'll send some stuff over to you.
Yeah.
Happy days.
Sounds good. Yeah.
Well, I've been, keeping busy. Kelly's Roadhouse podcast, the Sweet Valley High podcast, reviewing every single Sweet Valley High book ever written.
How many are there?
Well, of the Sweet Valley High series, there's like 170, I think, and then
okay,
and then there's Sweet Valley University and Sweet Valley Twins, and so basically, my fiance is a huge Sweet Valley High fan. She's got every book ever written, and decided it'd be fun to do a podcast. So I'm reading those and reviewing each one with her, and then we've got the Movies Made Us Do It podcast, still rocking that podcast. This week we are talking about Kill Bill Volume 1.
Nice.
But for games, I've just been playing Fallout 3 because I decided it would be fun to do a short kind of video, probably going to be a series of Icons play. So
yeah,
so good. My favourite part of that was when you got to save his mum, and then you ended up killing him. You're just like, "Fuck you! You ruined my birthday."
Yeah, he ruined my 10th birthday. I'm not going to forget that shit.
Somebody's been murdered. Yes, it's your son.
I've been thinking I might just do another episode or two on Fallout 3 because playing through Fallout 3 is so much fun. I don't really remember much of the game at all at this point. Like, I thought I remembered it quite well, but I really don't. And it's that, like, it's the right level of janky that it's hilarious to play. So yeah, maybe some more episodes on that, but who knows. But today we are here on the Icons of Sin podcast to discuss bosses and boss battles.
We are indeed.
Our favourites, our least favourites, our most frustrating. Who's going to kick this one off?
Because say most of mine are probably going to be Dark Souls bosses.
Do you know what? Me and Daz discussed this in the week, and Daz said, "I bet he's going to do loads of Dark Souls, so I will try and leave Dark Souls to him for the most part." But obviously it's a discussion, so once you've talked about it, we could all talk about it.
Absolutely, Chris. Do you want to go first?
Go for it, Chris.
Got any big ones?
Well, it's one I'm stuck on at the moment on Dark Souls 3. The Twin Princes, because he teleports around, and he normally.
No.
I'm about to throw a fireball at him, and he teleport behind me and stab me in the back, and it's like, you fucker.
Yeah. Tough boss fight. Is that phase 1 or phase 2 that you're on at the moment with him?
I can do phase 1. It's when phase 2, because then you've got his little brother on his back or sister or something. And when you get him down, you have to attack her as she's bringing him back to life. So you have to try and fight 2 bosses at once. Yeah,
it's a nightmare. It takes a bit of getting used to that boss. I can understand completely where the frustration comes in. But what playthrough are you on now? You're like, was that 5th playthrough? Is it +5?
I'm on Journey 7 now.
So HP is massive as well then.
Yeah.
It's not like in the first playthrough where you can, a certain number of attempts and then you can probably just get there. When it gets to that point, you've got to be good, haven't you?
Yeah. Well, I am soul level like 306, I think. Mm-hmm. But that doesn't really mean anything when they have like health bars like 50 times size of yours.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely, man. Yeah, it's a really good boss fight, that one as well, and the music that goes with it is
Oh
very-
yeah.
That's the other
Yes.
thing with boss battles, right? You've got all of that
Yeah.
epic music, and I know one
Yeah.
that you're going to bring up later, Daz, and that absolutely the epic music in that is is for
know
real.
exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah,
Twin Princes also has one of my favourite boss weapons.
which
I can't
is
remember the exact name of it, but it's the Prince's Greatsword, which has
Yeah.
you can set on fire and you have extra fire damage.
oh nice.
You need to do it at the transposing kiln in Firelink Shrine to get it with the boss soul, but it is really good.
Yeah,
sounds
yeah.
awesome.
Twin Prince's greatsword is like it's a beast of a weapon. It's so big as well.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun.
Sounds good, Daz. Give us a boss battle, man. Give us a
Right.
boss.
Okay. I'm going to stick with Soulsborne for a second.
Yeah,
but
no, that's cool, man.
don't you worry, my man. This is a little bit off the cuff. So, during Bloodborne, the Old Hunters DLC, to be specific, the only DLC that was released for Bloodborne, the Orphan of Kos, the actual final boss battle, is one for me that will always stand out. It's one of the hardest boss battles until you know what you're doing. That I've ever encountered. It's okay now. I've beat him about 20 times, so it's not too bad. But yeah, the Orphan of Kos is basically the orphan child of a great one. Any Lovecraftian fans out there will understand what I mean when I say a great one.
I do indeed.
Yep.
A great old one.
Yeah, absolutely. So basically, he's like this skeletal, sort of 8 foot tall beast that's
Nice.
carrying his. I say beast in terms of Bloodborne. He's not a beast. He's more humanoid than beast. But I'm saying beast because he's big, and he basically carries a hardened version of his own placenta, which he then uses to beat you to a bloody pulp.
That is fantastic.
Great boss battle, absolutely amazing. Again, the music is, I mean, it's Dark Souls universe music. It's going to be insane. But yeah, in terms of Miyazaki's bosses, any sort of Soulsborne bosses that I can come across, I think he is by far not only the most challenging to somebody just coming across him, but also just insane to look at. He's got this like horrible grin on his face constantly. He's just evil incarnate, and it's amazing to go against him.
Nice. Well, speaking of evil incarnate, I'll kick this off with maybe the best boss of video game history. Mecha Hitler from Wolfenstein 3D.
Sick.
You can't get much more of a better boss fight than fighting Hitler in a mech suit.
It's true. It's true.
Yeah.
Of course,
yeah,
the boss of Episode 3 of Wolfenstein 3D. He is the final boss, apart from there was the expansion afterwards, but up until the expansion, he was the final boss. And he's Hitler in a large mech suit with quad chain guns.
Yeah.
And the suit slowly breaks off as you kind of whittle away his HP. But had to get Hitler in here because he is the ultimate boss. I think killing Hitler is something we can all be happy about.
Yes, of course.
And also one of the best. If you've never seen his death animation, it's glorious. So look that up. But yes, Mecha Hitler, Wolfenstein 3D. Chris.
Good choice.
Yeah, see, my bosses are going to be quite limited because most of the games I play don't actually have like boss fights. They're just more.
That's cool,
open
man.
world.
Well, we're going to be discussing them anyway and discussing different ones. I know there's a few here that you'll know, Chris. At least one of mine in the list.
Oh, probably.
You will be talking about.
But I was going to say, touching on Bloodborne, which Daz's talking about, I haven't got very far in Bloodborne because I tried to play it like Dark Souls and that doesn't work.
What's different?
You've got a gun to use to parry and stuff, and
Chris. By the way, I don't know if you know this, Daz. Chris is not parrying. Is not Chris's finest, strongest suit.
Well, I was going to say in terms of gun deer, that's how I found getting his first phase down the most was to parry his right hand attacks. But I'll find another way around for you, Chris.
Yeah, so you'll be able to tell how far I've got on Bloodborne, which isn't very far at all. The cleric beast.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, that took me ages because you're on a narrow bridge as well, aren't you? And it's just, I couldn't. It took me about 6 tries to get to that.
Yeah. Yeah. One thing I'll say about that area of Central Yarnum, there's 2 bosses there, of course. One of them being optional, which is the cleric beast.
Wait. The boss I did was optional.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah. You can actually go back to him sort of midway through the game and kill him in about 6 hits.
I didn't know that.
But what I will say is, for a new player to Bloodborne to come across him, he is very, very big and very worrying. And yeah, it's one of those things. With him being your first boss in Bloodborne and playing Dark Souls beforehand, you're probably going to want to be very defensive.
Mm-hmm.
When the best way to deal with him is just to go all guns blazing.
Oh, I did manage to beat him, but it just took me a few tries, and it took ages to get back there because I get lost in Yarnum.
Oh yeah, it's like a labyrinth of houses.
I will go back and play Bloodborne at some point because my mate Aaron, who joins me on the stream, says I've finished it. Just if you stream it, I can give you advice on the fly. I'm like, that sounds brilliant.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, you have to ring the bell every now and then, man. I'm happy to jump in and do some co-op as well. That'd be fun.
You should definitely be joining each other's streams more.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, man.
Should happen. Daz, do you want to chuck another boss into the hat?
Of course I can, my dude. Nobody's going to be surprised when I say this is a Binding of Isaac boss.
Oh, right. I'm so surprised.
So the Binding of Isaac has 2 different levels of Binding of Isaac Rebirth. Then I should say has two different level, not even Rebirth, but Afterbirth. There's 2 different levels of DLC. So it is Afterbirth Plus. Sorry, Afterbirth was DLC, and then Afterbirth Plus was the final DLC. In that final DLC, you have an area called the Void, which you can teleport to. Within the Void, you fight basically all of the bosses again, if you can't find the way to the final boss battle. But when you do get there, you face Delirium. Delirium is the vision of your own insanity from running through floor after floor after floor, continuous sort of loops through the game trying to get your freedom.
Right.
And basically he takes on this sort of, it's like a big skull, big melty skull that can also sort of transform into any of the other bosses in the game at any given time.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a big challenge to, okay, I know the boss patterns of every boss now at this point, but can I on the fly adapt to them at a moment's notice? Its health pool is huge. There are ways around it, but I won't go into them too much. But yeah, amazing boss battle, and it is just the final nail in the coffin for Isaac in his sort of journey into madness and death.
Nice.
Well, that sounds really interesting.
It does. I must admit, it's a game I really need to play. Daz has played that game so much, and I feel I need to play it for sure.
Yeah.
I really should stop.
No, man, I love it. It's like your favorite game of all time, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, Daz, as you were saying, if it can transform into any boss, knowing the patterns to bosses, you go into it, you know the certain attack. It changing on the fly, that'd throw me completely.
Yeah. It does at first. There's certain things like there's certain bosses that stomp on you and things like that, just off screen, and then like a foot comes down, that kind of thing, and it'll happen like within a split second. You'll be shooting at the boss with your tears as you do, and then all of a sudden it'll transform into Mum's foot, and it'll like try to stamp down you, and you've literally got no time at all to like dodge out of the way of it and things like that. So very challenging. It's almost like a bullet hell fight as well, because while all this is happening, Delirium himself is like shooting like 360 bullets out with different sort of wave patterns, different speeds and things like that as well. Very, very, very hard boss fight. Love it though.
Sounds like a lot of fun. I like bullet hell, so
Same.
Sounds good. Well, speaking of bosses that are created from one's psyche. Mm-hmm. Let's talk about Pyramid Head.
I
from
completely
Silent Hill 2.
I just got a shiver
I will never forget Pyramid Head.
No, absolutely.
So of course you play as James in Silent Hill 2, and Pyramid Head is effectively it's like a figure of his guilt and inner torment manifested into this crazy pyramid-headed giant. Terrifying when I first played this game.
Yeah,
the first scene when you hide in the cupboard and he's doing whatever the hell he's doing in that room, and of course it gets worse because it ends up with two of them by the end of the game. So like thoughts on Pyramid Head. Any thoughts on Pyramid Head, guys?
Run.
Yeah, run.
Yeah. I think as a antagonist in any form of like survival horror, so to speak, then
he tops my list.
Yeah, he does 100%. He's amazing. The image of Pyramid Head is iconic.
It really is.
There's nothing really like him. The way he sort of went into the movies as well, he was still a threat, a viable threat.
They really hit the nail on the head on the movies. He was. I think that's the best part of the movie.
Absolutely.
Do you know? Yeah, absolutely. That movie is like. It doesn't do. I don't know that it does Silent Hill like necessarily justice, but it's not as bad as I thought it was. I rewatched that movie recently, and I was like, actually, it's pretty effective in some scenes. And Pyramid Head, yes. One thing they got right, although obviously shouldn't work in the context of what Pyramid Head is about, because Pyramid Head is James's psyche, not everyone else's. And that was a problem they had with the sequels. They just started putting Pyramid Head needlessly in sequels. But yeah, that image, and they do, like, in the movie, he is terrifying, right? Yeah, oh man, I love Pyramid Head. Love him, terrified of him. That first Silent Hill 2 playthrough, Jesus Christ.
Yeah. I'm glad I don't have to live through that first playthrough again.
Yeah.
But even still to this day, if I go back to it, I'm still kind of like nervous when it comes to Pyramid Head. Still gets me.
Yeah.
And that's what you want from, especially in a horror game when it comes to a boss, is to be like.
And I think
here we go.
The music plays into that as well. That music's ingrained in me. That first boss, the first fight you have with Pyramid Head, that noise is just oh man, I love it. Chris,
yeah, absolutely.
Chris,
well, I'm taking us back to a PlayStation 1 game.
Oh, okay, you're going back one further than me. Go for it.
Well, I've talked about it before. You remember the Aliens trilogy game?
I do. Are you going to talk about the Queen?
Yes, I am.
It's a son of a bitch.
Why was it on your list?
No, it's not on my list, but it is. I remember it being troublesome.
Yes, you got to fight it twice. Once you got to try and half run away from it in a corridor while still doing some damage, and it's all dark, like the slimy walls, like there is an alien. You can hardly see her running towards you because it's so dark. The eerie alien music, and then when you get to the loading dock, fighting her there, that's fun. Very, very difficult. But
fun though, yeah.
Oh, it's a hard boss, but it's also one of my favourites.
It's such an iconic design as well. You know, like Stan Winston took Giger's design and just did something wonderful with it. You know, for the Queen, just yeah, it's the natural evolution of Giger's design. I think it's great. It's great, and it does make for a great boss.
It does, especially because you get to use the power loader as well.
Yeah.
I recreate the iconic movie scene.
It does. I mean, like Alien Trilogy is one of those crazy games. It's like it's nothing like the movies, obviously, because they try and make all of them into a shooter. But it does have those iconic moments. It does capture those.
Yeah, it's vaguely based on the series, but from like a Marine's point of view.
Yeah.
I wish they could remake that original one because that was so good.
It was a lot of fun. I'm looking forward to. Is it Firestorm? That could be fun. I mean, it's giving me Colonial Marine vibes, which worries me. But
I didn't know there was a new one coming out.
Yeah, it's called Aliens Firestorm. I think it looks like a squad-based shooter. Could be fun.
Okay. Well, as long as it's not a Colonial Marines, because that was crap.
It's giving me vibes of Colonial Marines a bit.
Oh, dear.
But I'm hoping. But I'm hoping it's what Colonial Marines promised us, but didn't deliver on. I'm hoping it delivers on that promise.
Okay.
It looks good. It looks good.
So did Colonial Marines.
I know.
In the adverts.
Oh
Yeah,
man, I remember that walkway scene in the trailer. Just I was so looking forward to playing it.
Yeah, we don't talk about that one anymore.
Well, what we do talk about is bosses, Daz.
Yeah, we do talk about bosses. So, third time lucky, let's see what we do with this one. Anybody heard of a character called Sephiroth?
I have never heard of such a character. Now, this is
Sephiroth.
earlier on when I said there is one when we're talking about music that I knew you
Yeah.
were going to bring up. This is the one.
Yeah, so
Just
I
the
had
music.
I had two boss fights from the Final Fantasy series that I was trying to choose between when bringing it forward.
Do them both.
So one of them was Final Fantasy 15's Ifrit boss fight. He's always been my favourite Guardian Force, and making him the final boss battle of the game was amazing. However, Sephiroth is not only iconic, but One Winged Angel, his theme song, is like, it will always make that boss fight.
It's the most epic.
So much
It's the most epic song for a
Yeah.
boss fight ever. It's incredible.
Yeah, and it's timeless. And I'm currently playing through the remake
Part one
of
of the
Final
remake.
Fantasy VII as well. I didn't even mention that earlier, but yeah, I'm playing that too.
You are?
But yeah, I haven't actually worked out whether I get to fight Sephiroth this time, because I know it's done in chapters.
I'm guessing not, but I'm really curious to
Yeah.
see if they've because they have to use that song or do a new version of it. I'd love to hear it. I can't wait
I
to
would
hear
love to hear like a new orchestra with
that.
choir version of it.
Remastered. Yeah,
Yeah.
that'd be
See,
amazing.
I've never actually played a single Final Fantasy game, but I know who Sephiroth is.
So
Yeah.
that's the thing. I've played very little. I've played some of 7, but I know Sephiroth and I know that boss theme, and because in the 90s, even if you didn't play Final Fantasy, you were around a friend's house while they were playing Final Fantasy. So ultimately, I was there for it, and it's an epic fight, man.
Oh yeah,
It's an epic
absolutely.
fight.
Absolutely, and it's all led to with heartbreak and character arcs are at an absolute high towards the end of that game, where certain Final Fantasy games, I won't name them, I won't name and shame, but certain ones you can kind of get bored of certain characters sort of halfway through and be like, oh my god, can you just not anymore? But I mean, the arc with Cloud and his companions leading into that boss fight, and also the sort of bits in between, the little tidbits of Sephiroth that you get, learning about his relationship with Cloud and how things work with Soldier and Shinra. It all comes together into this massive climax, and it's amazing. Amazing. Best boss fight for me out of every boss fight.
Oh,
It's your top boss fight ever.
Yeah, I'm going to put it there.
Nice. No, that's a strong contender, man. Who's next? I can't remember who's next. Is it Chris? Or is
It's
it
you.
me? Oh, it's me. Okay.
It's you, Mr.
Diablo.
Hey.
Yes, from Diablo 1 and Diablo 2 and Diablo 3. But, Diablo 1, you turn up at Tristram and, make your way down, down through the levels of the cathedral, and then into hell itself. And in the lowest level of hell, you meet the Dark Lord, or the Lord of Terror, Diablo. And just an epic battle, and a wonderful payoff, having, grinded, because, all the Diablo games are grindy, right? We accept that.
Yeah.
They're grindy games, and it's a wonderful payoff to finally get to Diablo himself, and kind of cheat your way through him, like you do with most of the enemies in Diablo 1. Same as the Butcher, just find a way to cheap him out. Firewalls and mana shields. That's how you defeat Diablo. But, just a wonderful boss, and then just such a puzzling ending afterwards. that made no sense at the time, but then Diablo 2 happened and it all made sense. So yeah, Diablo, just throwing that one out there. I don't know if any of you have played a Diablo game to comment on that one.
I haven't, no, but I've been meaning to.
Yeah, we're going to jump into one. They're remaking Diablo 2, so I reckon we should all jump into that.
That sounds fun. I played a bit of, weirdly enough, Diablo 3, but I never completed it. Somebody sent me a free code for it, a streamer.
Oh, nice.
Was doing a giveaway, and I randomly got picked for a free code for it. So I do still have it. It's in my Steam account, but I've never completed it. I might actually go back and do so, just to see how it goes.
See, I do believe I have Diablo 3, because me and John have obviously linked our PlayStations with each other's accounts. So when he's not playing, when he's at work, I can log in on his PlayStation and play his games. I believe he's got it because I think he's been playing it through, but I haven't got as far as downloading it because I keep forgetting.
Fair enough. Yeah. Chris.
I am probably going to take us to a boss fight and game you probably haven't heard of.
Oh, go on.
Sounds good to me.
It's called Maple Story, the game.
I've heard of it. I have not played it.
I think I've talked about it before.
You talked about it on an episode of Icons, and I looked it up while you were talking about it, and it looks gorgeous. It's such a wonderful little animated game. It looks great.
Oh.
Yeah.
Charming.
Yeah, it's 2D like platformer, and obviously you can choose different classes: warrior, magician, thief, rogue, stuff like that. But the boss I want to talk about is one of it's not really the end game boss because there isn't really an end game, but it's in one area which is notoriously hard. It's the end boss of that area. It's called Zakum. It's an evil spirit trapped in like a cursed rotted tree with 8 arms. And each arm attacks separately, and his feet can attack too. You probably need a party of about 8 people to kill it.
Jesus.
Yeah, because it also rains down magic with like across the entire board. So you've got to keep dodging the stuff coming down. You've got to dodge the lava that can rise up. You've got to dodge his other attacks that come out you like horizontally as well. It's really hard. I've only done it once, I think, and that was with about a party of 8 or 9, I'd say. It's got the music's pretty much what you'd imagine for the art style, kind of anime-ish battle music. But yeah, it's a really fun boss.
It's a game I really want to play because it just looks so cool.
Maple Story 2 is actually out now, and they've made it 3D. They've made it 3D, and I'm not sure how I feel about it.
No, I wanted 2D. It looks really charming in 2D.
Yeah, no, it's really cool. But yeah, if you ever do play it and get to Zakum, expect hell.
I need friends for that one. I need 8 friends, which it's not going to happen. So.
Well, you might actually find people who don't have a party to do it will wait outside the boss fight and just because you can talk to each other. Little speech bubble appears above your head, and it's like looking to do the boss. Can I join the party? You'd be like, "Yep, come on."
Nice.
Yeah, so I've completed it with complete strangers.
Oh, that's awesome, man. Yeah, it looks like a lot of fun. That sounds like a hellish boss, though. Needing 8 players is crazy.
I have seen people solo it, but that's when you get to level 200, you can do something called a rebirth, which is kind of like a prestige in Call of Duty.
Right.
You go back to, or like a new game in Dark Souls, you go back to level 1, but with your same stats that you had at level 200. And then, say if you were an archer, and then you went for a rebirth, you could do, say like the second path of archers, because you can be crossbow or archer. So you can keep all your skills for archer, do the crossbow thing, then you can have you got twice the amount of attacks and special abilities.
Right.
Yeah, it's a really good game though. But that boss fight can eat dicks.
Daz. Hello? Daz?
Hello?
Daz is muted. Daz is gone on mute. While Daz is... Oh, hello. He's not on mute anymore. Hello, mate.
Sorry about that, mate.
That's quite all right.
I was actually sort of being like, yeah, oh, right, okay, cool, nice. And nobody could hear me. That's perfect. But yeah, outside the box a little bit for me, this one. This is my favourite cameo fight of all time.
Ooh, cameo fight.
It's not really cameo based. The game's kind of named after him. Let's go back to Nintendo.
Oh, I was going to go back to Nintendo soon. Go for it.
Mike Tyson.
Oh,
in
Punch
Mike
Out.
Tyson's Punch Out.
Tough fight, man.
Yeah.
Now that people have worked out the way to beat him with the guy in the crowd, which no one figured out for like decades.
Yeah.
Easier now, but my God, Mike Tyson was so hard as a kid, man.
Yeah, mate. Yeah. The thing with that was I think that was the first gaming hype moment that I ever experienced.
Beating Mike.
Not beating him, just him being in a game.
Oh, okay, yeah. It was huge. It was a huge.
Yeah.
Because I mean, you got to think at the time, Mike Tyson was like massive. That was Tyson at his height.
When was this game? What year?
Oh,
This is NES, wasn't it?
Oh, wow.
Was it NES?
It's NES. It's probably
It was, wasn't it?
80 something.
Fair enough. That's probably why I haven't heard of it.
88, 89. So obviously I was a few years older when I actually got around to playing it, but I remember Mike Tyson still being.
It was 87.
87 was it?
Yeah.
Oh wow. Okay, yeah. I remember him still being, when I played it, he was still the epitome of like the scary boxer.
Oh yeah.
I mean, youngest champion of all time at that point. I think that's still the case, isn't it? But,
it might well be.
Yeah, but Mike Tyson was somebody that I was introduced to boxing by my dad watching Mike Tyson fights and things like that, and I was a very young fan of his, and when this happened, I was proper over the moon about it, and yeah, a tough boss battle. Not on the scope of some of the other ones I've named in terms of like the music and the atmosphere and all this kind of stuff, but just iconic to me. Just
Absolutely.
one of those things that I'll never forget.
No.
Being in a punch up of Mike Tyson.
Yeah.
And losing badly a million times.
Yeah, man. It's good fun. Yeah. I will briefly stick with the NES and talk about Woodman from Mega Man 2. One of the robot masters in Mega Man 2. So in Mega Man, you play as Mega Man, and every Mega Man game, you've got a bunch of robot masters to defeat, sent by Dr. Wily, and Woodman is one of those. But Woodman is one of the most annoying bosses in Mega Man for me. He's really tough. There's like a rock paper scissors thing going on with Mega Man, and when you defeat a boss in Mega Man, you gain their powers, right? Yeah. So whatever their power is, you gain it. So there's like a rock paper scissors thing going on where you learn which order to do bosses, but if you don't know the order, Woodman will fuck you up. Because he's one of those annoying bosses that does different things. So he leaves like traps, and he has like leaves coming down from the ceiling that'll hurt you if you hit him, if you like touch them. So he kind of forces you into like a specific area that makes it very difficult to dodge his other attacks. He's just one of those complete pain in the ass bosses, but really good fun. But because I'm guessing you guys haven't played Mega Man 2.
I've watched some playthroughs, so I'm familiar with Woodman to a certain extent, but it's mainly
I'm the same. I've watched some playthroughs.
Well, I will briefly touch on one that I think we can probably all talk about, because I'm pretty confident we can all talk about this one. Dr. Fetus from Super Meat Boy.
Dr. Fetus.
Oh dear.
Hello.
He's a pain in the ass, man. Some of those levels. I always remember the one when he's chasing after you in the giant mech, and like redoing that level so many times. And the great thing about Meat Boy is it just starts up immediately again. It's like an instant start when you die. Yeah. And just, oh my god, the stress of
yeah. Oh. I think those stress levels that you're describing right there, they are the reason why I haven't put as many hours into Meat Boy as I've put into Isaac, because I could if it wasn't for the fact that it was so frustrating.
It's really frustrating. And then you get to the end of the level and it shows you all of the times that Meat Boy died. It's just like insane. But yeah,
it's just like BM, man.
yeah.
Complete BM.
Oh, nightmare. But yeah,
Yeah.
Dr. Fetus. I love the Meat Boy game. I need to play Meat Boy Forever. I think that's out now.
And this is also why you need to play Isaac.
Yeah, similar thing, right?
Yeah, well, cameos. So obviously, for people who don't know, Super Meat Boy is kind of like a platforming or die kind of game, where you sort of just bounce around from area to area, just trying to avoid buzzsaws and all sorts, trying to get to Bandage Girl. So obviously, with Isaac being a top-down roguelike, slightly different. It's more sort of around, Legend of Zelda sort of, that kind of gameplay. Very inspired by Zelda. But yeah, I mean, there's items and bosses in that game that sort of come from Super Meat Boy, and the universe as a whole is all linked.
Yeah.
Yeah, super fun.
Good stuff. Chris?
A bit of an odd one. Well, not an odd one, but it's not technically a boss battle. It's kind of like 5 mini boss battles.
Okay.
And going back to my childhood, very fond memories of this. It's the Elite Four of Pokemon Red.
Oh, dude, that's a good call.
Yeah. Pokemon Red. The best Pokemon.
The best
Red on
Pokemon.
the Game Boy Color.
The best Pokemon.
I still got it somewhere around here.
Yeah, that's showing age now that we've all gone. Yeah, best Pokemon.
It is the
for
best
Red.
one, though. If they made
Yeah.
if they made a better one, then I wouldn't be saying that.
Yeah.
Actually, I haven't played the Switch one yet, which does look very good. So
They did remaster Red as Fire Red, didn't they? And added
They did.
more stuff. It wasn't quite as good as the original, though. The
I
original's
felt that.
just got fond childhood memories.
yeah.
I quite enjoyed Let's Go Pikachu on the Switch, but not to the extent I did of Red when that first came out.
I was hoping that it would be like that big, because we've all wanted the open world, fully 3D RPG Pokemon game.
Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
was hoping that's what it was, but I guess maybe it's not.
Not quite, no. It's kind of like Pokemon Go meets Pokemon.
Yeah, that's
if
not
that
really
makes
what I
sense.
But yeah,
It's not-
dude.
Not on a sort of GPS kind of basis, but the way that the artificial sort of world works when you're on Pokemon Go is very similar to when you're in battles. The way you throw Pokeballs and stuff like that is the
okay.
same sort of engine.
Nice.
All
But
right.
yeah, Chris, dude, talk to us about Pokemon Red.
Well, obviously, with your first time playing it, when you finally get through Victory Road, because
Yeah.
that's a pain in the ass to navigate,
Yep.
and then you start the Elite Four. Obviously, they've got specific types. I can't remember what order they go. I think it's like Rock, Ghost, Dragon, and something else. I can't quite remember.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm sure.
Yeah, what
Can't
are they? I can't remember.
I can't recall either. It's been a while though.
It's been
I
a long
remember
time.
I remember the last one, Lance, is Dragon type,
Yeah.
and then you've got your rival afterwards. But getting through them on the first time, because no one ever brings enough potions or revives on their first time, and obviously the traditional little 8-bit music, absolutely amazing, and then facing off against your rival at the end once you think you won, it's brilliant, especially the first time through.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, I've got such fond memories of Pokemon Red.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's a good call.
I went in with like a level 80 Beedrill because I just leveled up Beedrill for I don't know, I thought it'd be fun.
Nice. Yeah, I remember my first experience of it was all my friends had Game Boys. I didn't, but I had a rubbish PC at home, and somebody that I was in school with actually put Pokemon Red onto a floppy disk for me.
Nice.
And then sort of the instructions on how to like unpack it, and that was my first ever look at how to do that sort of thing as well. How to like sort of use ROMs and all that kind of stuff. So that was cool. But yeah, Pokemon Red,
Yeah.
you can't beat it.
like-
I'm sorry.
I had Pokemon Red on the Game Boy. My sister had Pokemon Yellow.
Oh yeah.
So what we did is get to a point where we could trade. I'll trade her like a Charmander, start over, another Charmander, then 2 Squirtles, 2 Bulbasaurs, so she could have 3, all 3 starter Pokemon, and then we'll trade them back to me.
Nice.
Because otherwise, you can't. I don't think there's a way to get them, is there, in the original Pokemon Red?
I'm not sure.
I don't think there is.
I think
So
there
we-
was a lot of that where they purposely didn't put Pokemon in certain games, and you could only have them if you had the different color to
Yeah.
bring them over.
Yeah, there was Pokemon in Pokemon Blue that weren't in Red.
Yes.
Yeah.
But that is, as it turned out, my cousin had Pokemon Blue, so
So you ended up with all of them.
I actually ended up with all 150 on the original
Nice.
Pokemon Red.
So,
Pokemon Master.
according to the Googles, there is Lorelei, water and ice type.
Lorelei, yeah.
Bruno, rock and fighting type. Agatha, poison and ghost type. And
then
Lance.
Lance,
Yeah,
yeah.
dragon type.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good call. That is a good call, Chris. Oh, man, I want to play Pokemon now.
I've actually been playing Pokemon Go all day today. while
Have you?
taking the
Nice.
puppy- Well, I start playing again when I take the dog for a walk. So.
That's a
Oh,
good
nice,
idea.
yeah.
Yeah, or until we get to like a gym battle or a raid or something, and she's just standing there looking at me going, "We're on our way home. Can we go home yet? Can we go home yet?" I was like, 5 more minutes. 5 more minutes.
Nice.
Get you out.
Daz, it does get you out. Yeah, that's the great thing about Pokemon Go.
Yeah, absolutely.
Chrissy's eldest also plays it, so I've been trading with him and stuff like that,
Oh, nice. That's really cool, man.
nice, man.
and kicking his ass in battles.
Got to teach
Because
these
you're
kids,
a
man.
seasoned Pokemon vet. That's what it is.
Oh no, on Pokemon Go, I'm a much higher level and I've got stronger Pokemon.
Right, okay.
That'll do it.
Yeah,
So, very similar theme to Delirium, this one, but another sort of fight within a game that I always enjoy, a character that I love. Shang Tsung.
Oh, dude, that's and you're right. Very close to Delirium. Steals
Yeah.
the powers. Can take on the form of any other fighter in the game. Yeah,
Yep.
that's a good call.
Absolutely. Shang Tsung for me has always been that overarching. I know he's not the main boss in the universe of Mortal Kombat. He's not Outworld's leader
In the grand scheme, no. But
because you got like Shao Kahn and so
Yeah.
on. But still, I feel the actual gimmick of Shang Tsung, where
It's awesome.
transforming into other sort of characters. The lore is he steals their souls, which he again is super evil.
yeah, it's pretty bad. Yeah.
Yeah, Shang Tsung. Love fighting Shang Tsung in Mortal Kombat. Don't care if it's
in
Mortal Kombat
Any
2
Mortal Kombat,
or
yeah.
yeah. Going
I
up
think,
against Shang Tsung's always fun.
I think when they made Shang Tsung the boss, as it were, or the main villain in the Mortal Kombat movie, the first movie, I think that really cemented him as like final boss material in everyone's heads. Isn't he the final boss of Mortal Kombat 1 anyway? I could be wrong. Unless it is Shao Kahn. I'm not sure. Can't remember now.
I don't think Shao Kahn comes in until 2. Is
I
that
think
right?
it's 2. I could be wrong
Yeah.
though. It's been a long time since I played the first one. I've
Yeah.
got it back there, but I haven't played it for a long time. It's like Mortal Kombat 1 was great at the time, but as soon as Mortal Kombat 2 came out, it was like Mortal Kombat 1's irrelevant. To me anyway. It's like, no,
why
Mortal
bother
Kombat 2.
anymore? I mean, they did the thing Street Fighter did, didn't they? They improved with the sequel.
For sure.
Yeah. Which tends to go that way with beat 'em ups.
It does, yeah. They refine it in the second one.
Yeah, absolutely. But I think Shang Tsung, and you mentioned the movie. In terms of all of the shoddy acting in that movie, I feel like Shang Tsung is acted perfectly.
Yeah, I mean, he's a great actor. And I've still got a soft spot for Christopher Lambert's Raiden as well. Even though it's nothing like Raiden, it's just I've got a soft spot for him.
Yeah, he's definitely Raiden is definitely better played by Christopher Lambert than he was by the guy in the seat.
Yes, the Annihilation. Fuck me, that's terrible.
Oh yeah.
Oh, that's a good call, man. That's a good call.
One thing I will say about Annihilation, though, the way they used the pyramid to replicate the arcade ladder,
yeah, that's nice.
Was like, that's a nice little nod. Mm-hmm. Not sure how it works in practicality, but it's a nice nod at least.
Yeah, it's a nice idea.
Yeah.
Frank Horrigan from Fallout 2, Special Agent Frank Horrigan.
Frank
is a bastard of a boss in Fallout 2. So Fallout 2, you play a descendant of the Vault Dweller from Vault 13 and that you play as in the first Fallout game. At the end of Fallout, he starts a family which ends up becoming a tribe, and you're part of that tribe, and you end up leaving to try and save your tribe. And then you get mixed up. You know, as you do in Fallout, you get mixed up in everything that's going on out in the wasteland, and you encounter the Enclave for the first time, and you meet Special Agent Frank Horrigan, who is a giant. He's basically a super mutant cyborg who works for the Enclave, and he has specially built power armor that is actually grafted to his body, so he basically is his power armor, and he's like twice as tall as any human in the game, and he is really, really tough to fight. Certainly when I first played it, you know, over time you figure out ways of defeating bosses, don't you? But it's that initial first impression that really sticks with you. And I remember having real trouble beating him the first time. His hit points are insane. I think it's like 999 hit points, which in Fallout is quite a tough thing to take down, especially with his armor level and stuff as well. It's a real pain. You later learn that if you blind him, he'll stop using his plasma gun and try and knife you instead, which helps. But tough boss. Really fun when you blow him in half, though.
I suppose in the later Fallout games, you don't really have anything specifically is a boss, do you?
You kind of. I always thought, what's his name from Fallout 4? Not your son, the guy who kidnapped your son?
The agent bloke, half cyborg dude.
Yeah, that dickhead. I always thought of him as kind of a boss.
It's sort of, but it's not that hard.
No, not when you got a mini nuke. It's like instant death. He's done.
Yeah, it's a shame that they took bosses, like they stopped putting bosses in it, because that'd be cool if there was like a big area and like right in the corner of a map.
Yeah, funny enough, I literally just before this stream I was playing Fallout 3 and I got to the bit where the Brotherhood of Steel Paladins are going to the news station, and you get the super mutant come in, the giant behemoth super mutant come in, which is kind of a boss battle. That first appearance, you got the Death Claw in Fallout 4. Not really a boss, but it's that great moment when he comes out of the ground.
I suppose you do have that big mud crab thing in the fort in Fallout 4. I suppose that's kind of a boss.
You got Swan as well. Swan's kind of a boss, if you want to fuck with Swan.
I suppose so. Yeah, I guess that kind of is bosses. They're just not.
They're
really
not boss. Yeah, they're not like end of level bosses, are they? But they are there.
Yeah.
But yeah. So Fallout 2, Frank Horrigan, bastard. Are there any others? Has anyone got any other favourites they want to go for?
The Gaping Dragon from Dark Souls 1.
In the depths.
I don't know that one. Explain that one to me.
It's basically a dragon that looks like it's gone through half open bypass surgery on the heart. There's like his chest is open and exposed, and you can see all the insides. And it's kind of he's gross, but interesting and fun boss.
Dude.
Yeah.
I'm just looking up images of him. That is a cool design, man.
Yeah, it's awesome.
That's terrifying.
It's like as if his rib cage has come apart and his ribs have turned into teeth.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's amazing. And I think it's the first time in Dark Souls that you actually see a boss that has such a scale in terms of size. He's massive.
Yeah.
Definitely cheesable.
Dude, that looks like something from Silent Hill.
Yeah,
it's incredible. It's incredible.
I was gonna say, it's got quite the big scale, because before that you only had Asylum Demon, which was sort of big. Taurus Demon, was it? Gargoyles.
Asylum, Taurus, Gargoyles,
and then Butterfly.
Capra Demon, who's not really that big at all, but just hard because he's got dogs with him.
Yeah, that pissed me off. That did.
Yeah, it's more an environment difficulty than a boss difficulty. He's an easy boss. He's just in a very small room with a couple of dogs.
Right.
So
you've got to try and get the dogs first, and without. He's quite early on as well, though, so you don't have that much health to try and tank the dog hits.
That's the thing, because he holds the key to the depths as well. You have to do that to get to the Gaping Dragon.
Yeah.
Master Key doesn't work for the depths, does it?
No, unfortunately.
Yeah. Good boss fight, man. Absolutely great boss fight, that one.
You know,
Funny
the boss I found the hardest in the original Dark Souls was Sif, the Great Grey Wolf.
Ah, yeah. I think his jumps are quite sort of unpredictable, and his hitbox is weird. I can feel you there.
And
yeah,
also, because this is on my first playthrough of Dark Souls, so I wasn't aware of like the equipment load. You have to keep it under a certain amount, otherwise you fat roll.
Yeah.
And obviously, from playing other games, I put on the biggest, toughest, heaviest armor I can with the biggest sword I can.
Yeah.
And I never figured out that me rolling slowly, because I just got used to it. So I never put two and two
You just
together.
assume that's the speed you go. Yeah.
Yeah, so I was in like Havel's armor, like massive, like stone armor with this massive shield, a massive sword, and the Sif was just jumping about the place.
Yeah.
And it wasn't until one of my friends just like put on some lighter armor, use a faster sword like a katana. I was like, but he's gonna kill me easily. Then I went in, I got him the first try. I was like, oh,
Yeah.
fuck.
Yeah. I think it's Dark Souls. The whole thing is he who dares wins. Basically, it's the more you tank yourself up, the tougher it is to be a warrior. You
need to be agile and fast and less armor. Yeah,
there's a fine balance to it. You can take more hits, but also you can dodge less hits. So
that's why on Dark Souls 3 now and on 2 they've got it tells you the percentage of what your equipment load is.
They do, yeah.
And if you keep it under a certain amount, you can still roll fast but wear like heavy-ish armor. That's why on Dark Souls 3 now, because I'm stupidly high level when I put my equipment load up. I've got full Dragon Rider armor with Havel's great shield and what was it? The Dragon Slayer armor's great axe with the electric ability. I got that. I can still roll fast, so I'm quite a tank on Dark Souls 3.
Yeah, that's another good boss actually that we haven't brought up is Dragon Slayer armor, but
yeah, it's really good.
Yeah,
very susceptible to fireballs though.
Yeah, absolutely. And if you stick to his right side, you can just poke him in the bum.
Oh, because I've got I can't remember. It's a boss. It's a boss soul you use to get Chaos Bed Vestige, which is like the massive fireball. It's slow, but you can just back up, roll, hit one of them, go behind and wait for your stamina to come back up, roll, throw one of them.
Yeah.
You could take him out on your own. It's very easy.
Yeah, you've got that sort of monument on the bridge as well, though, that you can run around and he can chase you for circles and he can never get you as well. So you could use that and then back off from that point
until those things start raining down the meteors.
Oh yeah, the bone dragons or whatever they are. Yeah,
very annoying.
Absolutely right. Yeah, I was gonna throw another Dark Souls one in there actually. Which
Go for it.
We're talking about boss fights. I mean, there's no better franchise.
Well, I mean, and that's it, isn't it?
Yeah. The reason I was going to throw this in is a little bit of theory behind this from my end. The boss is Gwyn from Dark Souls 1.
Right.
He is Guardian of the First Flame, of course, and he's the final boss of Dark Souls.
Right.
So the reason I've thrown him in there, not only is his music epic, it's got this like piano sort of plin plin plon. I think it's been dubbed by the Gamerverse now, the internet of gamers. They've now dubbed it plin plin plon because of the three really iconic piano notes that play out in there. But yeah, also he stood there, killing the First Flame with his fiery sword. Not a hard boss, so to speak. You know, it's man on man. It's not the hardest boss known to me. But the reason I wanted to bring him up is because his name Gwyn is a Welsh word for white.
Right.
Okay. When you meet, I can't remember the name of the NPC, but there's an NPC you meet in the depths, and the first thing he says to you is Shemai, which is a Welsh word for how are you.
Right.
And the people who follow Gwyn are under the covenant, the Way of White, with Gwyn meaning white. So there's a lot of like Welsh influence in Dark Souls.
It's interesting.
that I've come across, and I don't know why. I just wanted to mention that out loud.
No, that's cool, man. I mean, that's I had no idea, obviously. So.
Yeah, so like it's weird because like I didn't realize it for years, and then what I was like, oh yeah, Gwyn, and then I joined the Way of White, and I was like, wait a minute, and then the NPC says Shamai, and it's like, oh, there's what's going on here, and I've tried to look into it a little bit, and I can't really see anything, so I don't know if Miyazaki maybe hired a writer that threw it in there, or whether he has any sort of links or friendships or something like that he's done it in tribute to. But yeah, I just found it really interesting.
Nice.
Maybe. You never know what goes through that man's head.
Yeah, true.
Awesome things. Awesome twisted things.
Yeah.
Good stuff. Are there any others that people want to mention?
Has
Or are we?
I mean, there's a pain in the ass.
Go on.
Neo Cortex from the end of the original Crash Bandicoot game. He was a pain in the ass.
Oh, man. Yes. 100%.
I think I only beat him once.
Yeah, oh god, I don't even know if it was me that beat him. Again, that was one of those games that, playing with a group of us, over someone's house. Not sure who finally beat him, but, one of us did. We got there in the end.
Yeah, I think my older brother beat him because I remember the original 3 Crash Bandicoot games on PS1. I remember we 100%ed all 3 of them, so I believe it was my older brother that completed the first one. Neo Cortex, yeah. Pain in the ass.
Yeah, he really
Love
is.
the original 3 games, though.
Oh, such good games, man. Such good games.
There was, I think it was the first Crash Bandicoot made me want to end everything at one point and throw my console out the window.
They do get really tough.
It was one of the levels, where the wall climbing levels.
Oh, God, yes. I know what you mean.
Yeah.
With the little turn platforms, you got to jump up, spin, jump onto it, and do it again before it goes away.
Yeah. And then you've got obviously the blocks that come out of the walls that you have to jump on and stuff like that. It's been great for platforming. So frustrating at the same time. I think, especially because I was young. I'm talking the first Crash. I think it's the first Crash Bandicoot.
Yeah, I think it is. I think they redid it in another level in the second. But
Yeah,
definitely another one you're on about.
Oh,
Yeah.
mate.
A frustrating game, but fun.
That's the level directly after Papu Papu, isn't it?
I think it is. Yeah, it's the first bit on the second island, isn't it?
I thought it was the first.
It's been a long time. I'm not sure. I could be wrong.
Another annoying level from that game was the Road to Nowhere, the bridge with you couldn't see the bloody slats on the bridge.
Oh, yeah.
Jump into nothingness.
Yeah. Leap of faith.
Leap of faith. That's always annoying in any game, I think, to be honest.
Yeah.
Man, it's been some good bosses.
Yeah.
I didn't mention the Guardian. The Guardian from the Ultima series. Should get a shout out, but it's a complicated old story to try and talk through. So I'll spare you the long story of Ultima and the Guardian. But effectively, he's like you play as the Avatar, which is basically you, and you end up getting transported via a gate to this fantasy world, and you kind of in that fantasy world you're kind of the paragon of good in that world, and you basically almost a religion is set up around you basically. But at one point you defeat in the original game you defeat the evil lord of that game, and there's a gem, the gem of immortality, and basically that gets broken, and if eventually later, much later in the games, in the 7th game, those shards which became shadow lords in one game becomes the dark side of you, and so you basically end up fighting this or dealing with this boss effectively over 3 games, and in the final game you realize that it's actually when you became the Avatar and you became good, all that is good in Ultima 4, you basically the evil side of you was discarded and became the Guardian. So in the end, you have to defeat yourself effectively. That all that is bad of you is in the Guardian, and to make things worse, by the time you get to him in Ultima 9, he is so tied to the pillars and everything that kind of makes Britannia what it is, the place that this fantasy world exists in, that he is the only way to destroy him fully without him coming back, because he's so tied to that world, is to basically destroy the entire world. So you end up casting the Armageddon spell and destroying the whole of Britannia in order to kill the Guardian. And you ascend to a higher plane of existence. But it's pretty bad. Sounds like
something you do in Fallout 3 does.
It's probably something I will end up doing in Fallout 3.
Destroy the world.
Destroy the world, yeah. Well, I'm certainly on my way to doing that. And one more boss to mention, for sure. Chris. You and me need to take down that Ender Dragon.
Oh, bugger, yeah, we do.
That's like the final boss I want to mention. We need to take down the Ender Dragon.
I was going to say, Chris isn't a boss battle, is he?
I mean, he could be. Yeah. But no, we've started on this Minecraft thing, and we need to take down the Ender Dragon. We need to do it.
That reminds me, I need to re-download Minecraft, don't I?
Dude, all three of us, we can take the Ender Dragon. Come on.
Yeah, I've been trying to find a fortress with the Ender Eyes, but I don't have enough.
We'll have to get back on that.
Definitely. I don't think I loaded it up just after we finished recording our last one, and I've built a few things, but I don't think I've loaded it up since.
We'll have to jump back in, man.
Definitely.
We got to do that boss battle for sure.
Yeah, we need to get
some. Guess what's downloading?
Nice.
Minecraft? Yeah, we'll have
Minecraft.
We'll make Daz a little house.
Yeah, we'll make him a little house. That'll be good. But yeah, guys, this has been fun talking boss battles. Are there any others you want to mention before we finish here? Just bringing up a few of our favourites.
Not off the top of my head, not really.
Alrighty. Well, there are a billion bosses out there that we didn't bring up. These are just a few of our favourites. I left out the Spider Mastermind. There's plenty of bosses when you start thinking about them. All of those Resident Evil bosses we never mentioned. But, plenty of bosses out there. But this is just a few of our favourites. And, what are we going to talk about next time, guys?
I haven't got that far.
Okay. We will have a discussion and come back to talk about that. Check out Chris and Daz's live streams. I'll put them in the description. And, of course, keep an eye out for our live stream, which will be coming in May for our anniversary. Daz is actually having some Skype issues now, so it probably is the perfect time to come to an end of this podcast. But yeah, check out the streams for Chris and Daz, and we will catch you back here next time.
Bye.
Bye.